Right, so welcome back. Here we'll be looking at a few exercises. And now, if you look at this question, the first question here, we can see that sine squared 36 plus cosine squared 36. This is nothing but 1. So it means that we can just write this as what? As 1 plus what? Tan 36 degree and cotan 264 degrees divided by tan 36 degree minus cotan 264 degrees. Now this is an angle in the third quadrant, right? So we can use the reference angle. So this is tan 36. This will just be cotan of what? Of 264 minus what? 180. So we have the same thing here. Because this is in quadrant 3. So here we are using reference angle. And cotan is positive, right? So this will give us 1 plus tan 36 degree, and this will just be cotan of what? 84 degree. And here also we'll have the same cotan of 84 degrees. All right, so with this now, we can apply cofunction identity to bring everything to tan. No, I don't have 1 here, careful. Here, what I have here is tan. The denominator is tan 36 degree minus. So this will be 1 plus tan 36. And this cotan can be written as tan 90 minus 84. So here you can see we are using now the cofunction identity. So this is minus tan 36, also 90 minus 84 degrees. Now this is 1 plus tan. So let's mention that here we use cofunction identity. So this is 36, and now you will have tan 6 degree. And this is tan 36 minus tan 36 degree. This is what is happening here. This is cotan, so there is no tan here. There is no tan 60. So this is just tan. This. So this now becomes tan of what? Tan of 6, right? Tan of 6. Yes, please follow the denominator carefully. Here, what we have here is tan 36 minus cotan. All right. So if you look at this carefully, this does not look exactly like what we know. Remember, what we know is that if you have tan alpha minus beta is what? Is tan alpha minus tan beta over what? 1 plus tan alpha tan of beta. So this we can just take the inverse so that we can have exactly what we want. This is 1 over, then we can have tan 36 minus tan what? 6 degrees over 1 plus tan 36 tan what? 6. Okay. But if you look at this one, this will give us what? Tan alpha minus beta. So this is just 1 over tan 36 minus 6, which is going to be 1 over tan of what? 30. And this is 1 over tan 30 is 1 over root 3, right? So the answer is just going to be 3, root of 3. Root of 3 is the answer. All right, now number 2. If we look at number 2, it's sine 105. Sine 105 divided by cosine. So let's see, sine 105 divided by cosine 165. Now for 105, we can easily write it as a sum. So we can write this as sine 60 plus what? Plus 45 degrees. But here, we have to use reference angle here because this number, we cannot easily write it as sum of two famous angles. We can write it as sum of two famous angles. So we use the reference. This is in the second quadrant. So in the second quadrant, cosine is negative. So you have negative cosine. Then it's going to be what? 180 minus 165, right? So here we are using reference angle. Now this is going to be, let's just simplify things now. One more step. This is 60 plus still 45. Let's leave it that way. Over. This is now minus cosine of what? 15, yes? In the denominator. Now this we can write as 60 still plus 45. Now the 15 in the denominator, we can write it as what? As 45 minus 30. Okay. So now let's do the expansion. So to expand up, this is sine. So this is sine 60 cosine 45 plus cosine 60 sine what? 45. Divide by what? Now this is minus, so this minus is outside, so let's keep it outside and take this cosine inside. This will be cosine 45. And what? Cosine will have to finish, cosine 30. But now plus sine 45 and then sine what? 30. So you can add degrees. Okay. Now, this is what? What is sine 60 is root 3 over what? 2. Cosine 45 root 2 over 2 plus cosine 60 is half. Sine 45 root 2 over 2. Everything divided by, don't forget we have a minus outside. Now cosine 45 root 2 over 2, the denominator now, cosine 30 is root 3 over 2 plus sine 45 root 2 over 2 times sine 30, which is 1 over 2. Am I correct? Yes. Now, if we look at this carefully, we will realize that the numerator is nothing but root 6 plus what? Root 2 over 4. And the denominator is also the same, which is, but with a minus outside, which is root 6 plus root 2 also over 4. Now, if you look at this, everything will cancel, and your answer is just -1. Because what you have in the numerator is what you have in the denominator, except that you have a minus outside here. So the answer is just going to be -1. All right, let's see another one here. Example 3. Now, for example 3, we have that what? Sine 3 pi cosine plus this. All right, so here we need to expand. So we have these two terms here, this one and this one. Okay, here we can multiply, it's okay. Now let's take this term only. Let's take this term, which is sine 3 pi over 2 plus beta, right? Multiplied by cosine. So let's assume we just want to deal with this one. What would this be like? Let's start with this one, since this is multiplication. You can see that this is sine, cosine, right? And they are not exactly the same, because this is sine, this is cosine, sine, and this is sine, cosine. But the angles are not exactly the same, right? Now, since they are not exactly the same, what can we do? Can we make them the same? Okay. Yeah, we can actually do something, but let's see which one is. All right, to solve this particular one, we have many ways to do it, but let's just take it one by one. For example, take this part. This is what? This is sine 3 over 2 plus this multiplied by cosine. Now, which is the first part here? If you look at this, what is this one? Clearly, you can see that you can expand if you want to expand. If you expand this, this is sine of what? 3 pi over 2. Then what? Then cosine of what? B plus. Then you will have cosine 3 pi over 2. Then you will have sine of what? Beta. Now, this is coming from the first term. Now, the second term also you can expand. Let's put it this way. But this is going to be cosine of what? Pi, right? Then cosine of what? Beta. Then plus sine of pi, sine of what? Beta. So if you look at this term, you can cancel easily. This is sine pi. Sine pi is 180. This goes to 0. Look at it. This is cosine pi. Cosine pi is what? Is -1, right? So it means what you have left here is just minus cosine beta. Now, if you go in here, look at what you should consider. This is sine what? 270. And this is cosine what? 270. We know these values. These values are standard values. Cosine 270 is what? What is cosine 270? Cosine 270 is 0, right? So this goes to 0 because you have cosine 270. How do you remember these things? If you look at this point, what is the point here? This is the point at 270. This is when x is 0 and y is -1. So this is where you have 3 pi over 2, right? So the first entry here, the x coordinate is the cosine, while the y entry coordinate here is the sine. So cosine 270 is 0. Yes, y sine 270 is what? is minus 1. So this, you can see, this is 0, and this is what's minus 1. So clearly, if this is minus 1, so you have minus 1 times cosine. So this will just become minus cosine beta, right? Okay, in here, this goes to 0, so you don't have anything. So here, actually, you have this plus a 0, which is just minus cosine beta, right? Okay, but here, what is this? What is coming from here? If you look at here also, this is multiplying by, this is just minus cosine of what? Beta plus what? Plus 0. Okay, so it means that this is minus cosine beta plus 0. Minus cosine beta plus 0 is also minus cosine beta. So everything is just minus will cancel minus. So you just have cos squared beta. Now, this is not all. This is just coming from the what? From the first term. So take note of that. So let's get more space here. Okay. So now let's deal with the second term. Now, the second term, when I say the second term, I mean this one. This one. So let me write it here. Cosine pi over 2 minus b sine what? Sine beta. Now, this is clearly, this one is easy because this, you don't even have to expand. You can see that if you use your cofunction identity, what is this? This is just sine. So this is simply sine beta multiplied by what? By sine beta, right? So it means that your answer is just what? The answer is just beta sine squared beta, right? So you see the second part is just sine squared beta, right? So here, just note that what we used here is the cofunction identity, cosine pi over 2 minus beta multiplied by sine beta. What is cosine pi over 2? It's just sine beta, right? Cosine pi over 2 minus beta is just sine beta. So you have sine beta times sine beta. But if you don't want to use that, you can just expand it. This is what you have. Cosine pi over 2 minus beta times what? Sine beta. If you expand this, this is just cosine pi over 2 and what? Cosine beta. Then plus what? Sine pi over 2 sine beta, right? Everything here. Then you still multiply by sine beta, right? Okay, but if you look here, this is sine 90. We know sine 90 is 1, but cosine 90 is 0. So it means that this term will become 0. So you have only this term left, which is just sine beta, right? So now you multiply by the sine beta outside. So you have sine squared beta. So to finish, it means that this term here is what? Is cos squared beta. Why this term here is what? Is sine squared beta. Therefore, the answer should be 1. Because cos squared beta plus sine squared beta is what? Is 1. All right, now example 4. I think we did similar stuff already in previous videos. Let's do it again. Here, we will let alpha to be what? Tan inverse of half. And we will let beta to be cosine inverse of what? 4 over 5. it means that what we are looking for, our expression, is now the same thing as sine alpha minus beta, right? Because we let alpha to be this and beta to be cosine inverse. Now, what is sine alpha minus beta? It's going to be sine alpha cosine beta minus cosine alpha sine beta. So where do we get this information from? We have to come back to this one. If alpha is tan inverse of this, so it means that tan alpha is equals to what? 1 over 2. And here too, if beta is cosine inverse of this, it means that tan beta is what? Is 4 over 5. All right, so here we know that this cosine inverse is either in the first or in the second quadrant. Tan is positive where? No, not tan. This is not tan, but cosine, sorry. Here is cosine beta. So cosine beta is positive either in the first or in the what? Or in the fourth quadrant. So it means that for cosine here, which quadrant is common? We'll take the quadrant that is common, and that quadrant is quadrant number 1. Right. So it means that we should have something here. Our beta has to be in the first quadrant. So beta cosine is 4 over 5. So this is adjacent is 4, hypotenuse is 5. Then definitely the opposite is going to be 3, right? Yes. Now, let's deal with that of tan. Remember, alpha is tan 1 over 2. So tan inverse is either in the first or in the fourth quadrant as well. But tan is positive because tan is 1 over 2. Is positive in which quadrant? Quadrant 1 or quadrant number 3. So the same way, we will take the common quadrants, which is quadrant number what? Number 1, right? So it means our alpha is also in the first quadrant. So if alpha in the first quadrant, what does that mean? It means we have alpha here. So adjacent over hypotenuse, our adjacent is 1. Our hypotenuse is what? Because tan is what? Opposite. Sorry. Opposite is 1 because we're dealing with tan alpha here. And adjacent is what? Is root of is 2. Then the hypotenuse will just be the square of this. So this is going to be the square root of 5. Okay. So now let's go back to answering the question. So now what is this? This, remember, is sine alpha, right? But what is sine alpha? Sine alpha, we have to come to the diagram where we have alpha. So this is alpha. Sine alpha will be opposite over hypotenuse, which is going to be 1 over root 5. Then times cosine beta. We have cosine beta from here, which is just 4 over 5. Then minus cosine alpha. We have to go back here to alpha. Cosine alpha will be adjacent, which is 2 over root 5. Then sine beta. Sine beta is what? Opposite over hypotenuse, which is 3 over what? Over 5. So everything now is going to be 4 over 5 root of 5 minus what? 6 over 5 root of 5, right? And this is nothing but what? Minus 2 over 5 roots of 5. So we can multiply both sides by root 5 over root 5. So this is minus 2 root 5 over 25. Two root of 5 over 25. So the answer here is what? It's B. All right. So let's go to the last question for this exercises. It's question number 5. So question number 5 is asking that we should find the values of A, B, and what? Yes, the values of A, B, plus 3C, right? So this now we can first of all write this as what? F of x equals to 2 sine x plus, now this is nothing but 2 root 3. You see, 1 over sec x is the same thing as cosine x. Yes? So this is what it is. And don't forget, you can write this now as what? As A. I want to write it as this one, right? Yeah, but if you look at the position of this is like writing, normally we're supposed to write this as what? Sine x plus what? Plus alpha, So it means that this k is taking the position of A, right? And then we can write it like this. So let's see what we can do. Let's try to find everything. Now, what is k? What is capital A? Capital A is the coefficient of sine x, which is 2. Capital B is what? The coefficient of cosine x, which is 2 root 3. And our k usually is going to be root of A squared plus B squared, which is simply 4 plus the square of B is what? And this will be 4 times 3, right? Which is going to be 12. Correct? Yes. And now this is going to be square root of 16. So k is just 4. Okay, and we know what is cosine. What is cosine alpha and sine alpha, right? So let's find cosine alpha. And, so here we said this is root 16, right? So k, it's 4. And also we know that cosine alpha is going to be A over k. So it means that cosine alpha is A is 2 over k, which is 4, right? So cosine alpha is just going to be 1 over 2. Also, we know that sine alpha is B over k, which means that sine alpha is going to be what? B is 2 root 3 over 4, yes? So this is sine alpha is going to be root 3 over 2, yes? Now, we know how to find this alpha. Sine is positive in which quadrants? It's positive in quadrant number 1 as well as quadrant number 2. Cosine is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant number 4. So the common quadrant is what? Is quadrant number 1. Okay. And we need to get what is alpha star, right? So alpha star will be in the first quadrant. You need an angle in the first quadrant whose cosine is half. And what? And the sine is √3/2. And that is definitely angle 60, right? So which is pi over 3. Because pi over 3 is 60 degrees. Cosine 60 degree is 1/2. Y sine 60 degree is half. But you can see that we are in which quadrant? We are in the first quadrant, yes? So since we are in the first quadrant, it means that what? In quadrant 1, we know that alpha is the same thing as alpha star. So it means our alpha is actually pi over what? Pi over 3. So what that means is that we have our k, we have our alpha, right? So this is going to be, the k is 4 sine, and here is x plus what? Pi over 3, correct? Okay. Now we need to rewrite it a bit. Okay. What happened here? So we need to rewrite this as what? This is k. K is 4, so we have 4 sine x plus pi over 3, right? So here we can rewrite it in this form. Look at how it is looking. So we can write this is 4 sine. We can take 3 as a common factor. If you take 3 as a common factor, what do we take as 3? Yeah, what will be, it's okay. Remember, we want to write it in the form of this. So I think we can just write it like this is x plus what? 1/3 pi. Now try to compare this one and this one and what you are given. So compare these two. If you compare these two, you will see that our small a is equals to 4, right? What is b? B is going to be just 1. And c is what? C is just 1/3. Yes. All right. So it means that when we get back here, what do? We want to find a plus b plus 3c. What is a? A is 4 plus, so a is 4 plus b, it's 1, then plus 3c. So this is 3 times c. C is 1/3, right? Okay, so this will just give us 4 plus 1 plus 1, which is 6. So the answer is A only, not B, but A. All right. Okay, yeah, so thank you for watching. Try to share if you like it. You click, you like this video, and also share with your friends. If you are yet to subscribe, kindly do that. Thank you for watching.